And let's get more on Judge Garland's nomination now from Dahlia Litwick, senior editor and Supreme Court correspondent for Slate, and Carrie Severino, chief counsel and policy director of the Judicial Crisis Network. So we've got both sides staked out there. Dahlia, it doesn't appear right now that Judge Garland is going to get a hearing, but let's talk about him on the merits. Would he be a solid fifth vote on the liberal side, and what kind of role would you expect him to play?
I think that the consensus seems to be, George, that this is a judge's judge. This is a pretty moderate liberal. I think that if you look at his record, he's got a 19-year record on the Court of Appeals. You're going to find that he is very, very apt to follow precedent. He's very apt to rule narrowly. He's on Guantanamo on one side and then the other on campaign finance for it, against it, always just very clearly sticking to the facts of the issue.
Likely a fifth vote with the liberal bloc.
I think that more often than not, you're going to see him vote with the liberals, but I think that the notion that he's a hippie, wild-eyed liberal is probably way out.
Carrie, back in 2010, when there was another vacancy, you said Judge Garland was about the best that Republicans, conservatives could hope for under President Obama.
Well, they could have done worse. They could have appointed Eric Holder. But I think it's very clear that he does exactly what this president wanted to do, to take the court from a 4-4-1 balance and move it to a very reliable fifth vote. If you don't believe me, ask the New York Times. They said he would probably vote a little to the left of Justice Kagan, and solidly with this block of 5 liberals. He has a gun vote that makes us think he doesn't even think you have a Second Amendment right to have a gun in your own house for your own protection. He defers to administrative agencies across the board. So the EPA doing its unconstitutional power grabs, trying to rewrite the laws, I think absolutely would be in his camp. There's a real question he would probably be the fifth vote on abortion to get rid of limitations on abortion. That's why Planned Parenthood is supporting
him. That would be the case for anybody President Obama appointed.
Absolutely, but I think it clearly makes the court a solid liberal court. As the New York Times said, probably the most liberal court we'd have in the last 50 years.
Let me ask you, some liberal groups are a little bit disappointed by the pick of Judge Garland, 63 years old, white, moderate, they say.
Harvard,
right, another Harvard. If Hillary Clinton is the Democratic nominee and she wins, would Garland be the best first pick?
I think that they will stick with Garland. I think that Obama was trying really hard, George, to change the subject from politics to the court. And I think Hillary's going to want to do the same thing. I think that the idea here is, let's talk about the Supreme Court. This is not about tantrums on the right. This is not about, issues on the left. This is putting the best possible judge on the court.
The reverse question for you right now, then, as Jeff Flake said, if Hillary Clinton is the Democratic nominee and she wins, it would be better to approve Judge Garland in a lame duck session than gamble on her choice. Do you agree with that?
I think he's probably going to be as liberal as someone she's going to pick, frankly, but he may be 10 or even 20 years older than her ideal candidate. I think that's the big principle here, as Senator McConnell said earlier, is the American people deserve a voice right now on this. They elected a Republican Senate, put a check on this president's expansive overreach, and they're doing that right now. After November, I think it's anyone's guess what's going to happen.
We're just about out of time. Democrats aren't going to be able to break Senator McConnell, are they?
Well, I think we're seeing little cracks, but I think that this looks like a tantrum that's going to go on for a long time.
Okay. Dahlia Litwick, Carrie Severino, thanks very much.